Skky Royal, originally from New Orleans and now a resident of Northern Virginia, is a recent graduate of the Paul Mitchell School in Tysons, slated to be a stylist at Jackson Harlow in Northern Virginia also. Today, we're going to hear all about her plans and her goals as a rising stylist in Gen Z to understand her and her cohort even more. Welcome back to the Hairdresser Strong Show. My name is Robert, and I'm your host. Today, I'm with Skky Royal. How are you doing today, Skky?
I'm doing great. How are you, dear?
I'm very good. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming on the show. I really appreciate you taking some time and to do this. I'm really looking forward to this conversation.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, so for a little background information for the audience, I went to be guest speaker at the Paul Mitchell School in Tysons, and that's where I met Skky. And you raised your hand and you contributed as part of that, and that whole conversation was discovering the expectations of rising stylists, of salon owners, and what their career goals are. So why don't you tell us a little bit about like your process for getting into school and what you what your experience has been like up to now.
Well, I have always had a passion for hair, anything related to cosmetology, anything really related to people, helping people feel beautiful, look beautiful. Like that's a really, big enjoyment of mine. I always knew I would end up doing it. I just didn't know when I would end up doing it. And fun fact, I scheduled like 2 or 3 interviews to come to this school, specifically Tysons. It was at least 2 or 3 times that I called up here and I scheduled to do a tour, but I'm a firm believer in timing is everything. Timing is your foundation. And I feel like over the years, I've worked on, discipline. I've worked on, just tunnel vision. Mind you, I still have things that, I have to work on. But for the most part, I felt like this was my time to shine. I felt like I was ready. I felt like it's just my calling. I feel like it's just my calling to do this. I'm helping people every day. I'm meeting new faces. So eventually I kind of had to get out of my own head and just fight those demons and say, you know what, let's just give this a shot, give it our best. And so now we're here.
Gotcha. So you're going to school, and at what point in time did you have you worked in a salon yet? I know you said you're going to Jackson Harlow, but have you worked in a salon at all?
I have not had any salon experience. No, sir.
And how did you find the Jackson Harlow salon?
Actually, my father found her. My father was out here, handling business, doing certain things, and he came across Roxanne, who's the owner of the salon, and they met. She called, she spoke with me, and her energy was just great. Everything about her vibe was just genuine and just real down to earth. And when I went and looked at the salon, just she had everything that I wanted, down to extended education, down to, her salon is multicultural. She has many, many services to offer, and the fact that I want to learn how to do eyelashes, and she has that, as a service, that was like the cherry on top. So my father actually ended up meeting her, and then I went to go meet her myself, and it was just like everything was perfect.
Okay, let's expand upon that a little bit, because I think that's a really important piece of information for any salon owner that's paying attention, or aspiring salon owner thinking about having to hire this next generation of hairstylists, as well as as well as maybe other rising stylists when they're thinking about going out. Maybe they're just starting and they're re-listening to this, and they're gonna want to like really kind of start thinking about what they want out of their career. So, what you said that she had everything you wanted, and you mentioned a couple of things. Could you tell me a little bit about like what is it that you look for or desire in a salon or from a salon owner?
Well, first thing first for me is extended education. I feel
Okay.
like that is extremely important because you're never done learning. You're never done learning. Even if you've been in the industry 10, 15, 20 years, it's always going to be something new to learn, I feel. So the fact that she has extended education was really important because I know that I'm gonna continue to continue to learn while being, under her, being in the salon. It's really big for me to see different ethnic groups, for it to be multicultural because I
Oh,
love.
sorry. I don't want to interrupt.
Okay,
I want to get to that in a second. I want to make sure that
okay.
I want to have a question about this education stuff. So, when this salon owner tells you we have education, how did they tell you? What exactly did they tell you that they have? Like, how do you
Well,
know? How do you know with such
that she has
confidence?
extended education.
Yeah, yeah.
We spoke very, very, very detailed on it, because I was telling her like I would like to be more confident in my cutting. I'm not as confident in my men's cutting, specific things like that. And she, told me verbatim, hey, I have a barber that comes out so many times a month, does a workshop. The money that we are also putting into the shop goes toward our extended education.
Okay.
So we'll be able to, hey, if we want help with extensions, if we want help with balayage, if we want help with, whatever, she is willing to bring that help for us into her salon.
So
So that's
specifically,
really,
sorry. So specifically bringing outside educators in on a regular
yes,
basis.
yes.
And did she say like it's scheduled to be once a month, or is it more like I have this thing that comes in every 4 months, but or every few months, but then anything else you have to tell me?
It was more so of I guess, the majority vote. If she sees where her stylists are interested in specific things and the majority votes on it, then that's kind of how she goes about it. The only thing I can remember her saying verbatim that comes in frequently is a barber to help,
Okay.
with men's cutting.
And did she say anything about classes that like internal classes where you're learning from her or one of her stylists?
That, yes, that more so pertaining to the lashes. I'll
Okay.
be taking the lash tech course with her specifically, and even once I'm out of school and I'm working in the salon and everything, she's like, I'm still there to help. Everybody in here is here to help you. We all learn from each other. We all work with each other. So if there is something that you do need help with, reach out to one of the other stylists that are in the salon. I'll be there every step of the way for you. So they're really big on health and making sure that you got everything that you need to succeed there. So
So it sounds like the salon owner really instilled confidence in you about
mhm.
that she's going to make sure that she's there to help you with the education, but they don't necessarily have an education program for training you. It's more like based on what you want, we'll
Mhm.
figure out how we're going to work on it.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
but it also sounds a little like the the confidence that or sorry um it also sounds like the energy that this person brought on when they were talking about education also may have instilled some confidence in her on your part. Is that
Mhm. I would definitely agree because I mean, in order for people to come and work for you, they have to feel confident in you. They have to feel confident in themselves after talking, to you. And I feel like when I went and spoke with her, she, I don't want to say it was perfect. Everything was, but the things that she told me and the things that I explained to her that I was worried about, she made me feel confident enough in her and myself that, okay, once I come to work at the salon, the things that are going to be my weaknesses aren't going to be my weaknesses forever. We're going to tackle it. She's going to work on it, and we're going to continue to expand. So.
Okay, cool. All right, so instilling confidence and in this whoever's coming into the salon uh, to make sure that you are addressing their concerns and their needs. Basically, you felt that way. Well, in terms of education, but maybe it's not just education. Maybe it was also like there's a vibe there.
Yeah, it's so funny because one of the learning leaders here, she was actually the learning leader, one of my favorite learning leaders, mentor, and she had nothing but amazing and great things to say. So I just feel like it's about, okay, how could we benefit, but also if the genuine vibe isn't there, if the just that feel like, okay, this is a great person. This is someone that's going to help me go far, or somebody that I can learn a lot from. If I don't feel that, it is going to be really hard for me to trust that you can help me succeed.
Totally.
I have to feel something genuine there.
Totally. Cool. Awesome. I think that's super valuable for anybody listening who wants to know, what motivates you. Okay, so now let's talk about, you said multicultural salon. Can you tell us like what that means? So for anybody listening who's really not sure what you mean by that.
So when I say multicultural, I mean you're not walking in the salon and only seeing African Americans. You're not only walking in a salon and seeing Caucasians. You're not only walking in salons and seeing, salons and seeing Latin Americans. You're walking in and you're seeing a bit of everything, and that's exactly what my salon is. There's African American women, there's Latin women, there's Caucasian women, there's pretty much a
Like
bit of everything.
the team members
The team, the
are,
stylists themselves, and the guests,
and the
and the
clients.
guests,
Okay.
because for me, just prime example, when I first got to the school, I was getting a lot of silk presses, which is dealing with African American hair, and I didn't really like that because I'm like, I didn't just come here to do silk presses. So I had expressed, my frustration and letting them know, like, I don't want to just do one thing. I didn't come here to just do one thing. And then eventually I started getting highlights and haircuts and this and that. So I feel like depending on the person, you got to know what audience you want. You got to know what type of clientele you want. And I know for me, I want to do it all. I don't want to just limit my pockets to one ethnic group. I want to do everybody's hair. I want an African American woman to come in and be like, oh, I want my hair done in any other ethnic group. And I feel like that's really important unless you're like, okay, you know what? I just want to do one kind of hair. And I feel like when you're in a setting, in a surrounding environment where you can do it all, like you're never gonna say no.
Right.
You're
Yeah.
always gonna be able to help somebody. So that was really important for me with looking for a salon because I want to do it all. I want to do everyone's hair, not just my kind of hair or your kind of hair. I want a full list of ethnic groups.
Cool. That's awesome. Okay, so not only seeing like the type of hair that they do, but definitely the type of hair that they do. It sounds like this. If the staff wasn't as diverse, but the clientele was, would that also be appealing, or are you looking for both a diverse team and a diverse clientele?
I would say my clientele was most important to me. So if I saw where the clientele was still very diverse, I still may have took the opportunity. But because the team and my clientele is, diverse, I feel like it's amazing because I'm
Yeah.
meeting different personalities, different people every day, and then it's not just about just the ethnic group, right? It's about that, but that ethnic group has a lot to do with their hair texture and their hair formation and all that different stuff. So it's like if I'm dealing with one group of people, I'm probably only doing one kind of hair texture, one kind of hair formation, and that's not what I wanted to do.
Right. Cool. That's awesome. All right,
Yeah.
so we got education is important. It sounded like it doesn't necessarily need to be like a training program necessarily, or regular classes, or sorry, like weekly classes or monthly classes. It just needs. It sounds like having having a education being very important to the business and to the owner and to your team, and knowing that there is some regularity of
Mhm.
education,
Yeah.
so the way you're not just ended up with one or two classes a year. Hopefully you have, say, six. And so something like, more than yeah, we like education, we have a couple classes a year, but not necessarily, oh, this is our program, and this is like, these are the when all the classes are, and stuff
Mhm.
like that, right? And it
Yeah.
sounds like the vibe and the energy of the person that you talk to about this topic also plays a big role, because you want to have confidence that they're not only going to like have a class, but also maybe be someone that you can go to ask questions during the day. While
Mhm.
if you have a problem, it might not just be a class. It might be like, I need help with something, and I know I can go to my boss because,
Exactly.
yeah, okay. And
Exactly.
then
Yeah.
also diversity, not only in staff, but also in type of hair that the clientele is done, is also important. You don't want to limit yourself and your future by only kind of pigeonholing into one set of type of hair or type of work.
Yes, I
Okay,
would agree.
anything else?
Um,
Or is that it? Those are the two, maybe three. We'll call it three: education, confidence, and or confidence slash vibe, and
mhm.
and diversity, multicultural.
Yeah, those would definitely be the biggest things on my list that is important when I'm, looking for my home. Because, I mean, that's what your salon is going to be. It's going to be your second home. You're going to be there 4 to 5 days a week, maybe more.
Right.
So I think those things are really important for me, at least, to be as successful as possible.
And what if this salon owner said that you would be apprenticing for a year, but you really liked the business, you really liked this owner, you really liked all the other things you had. What if it was this specific person was like, we love you, you're going to apprentice for a year before you get on the floor? How would you feel about that?
Mm, for me personally, I don't.
You'll be getting paid.
You know what? I do not know, but I'll say this. I feel like with my talent and the things that I've learned and the things that I'm doing, I feel like in the beginning of my career, I don't feel like I need to be an apprentice because I feel like, I mean, regardless, you're never done learning. Like I said, you're always going to be continuing to learn. So for me, being an apprentice is kind of like I don't get to show my work. I don't get to do my best and show my creativity. So for me, I would feel like that's kind of holding me back. But I'm also not against it because I understand one thing about this life and about this industry. You have to, be willing to accept certain things to get to where you want to be in life. So if I absolutely had to be an apprentice, I would. But if I didn't have to be, I wouldn't be.
Okay,
I
how
would
about
want
this? Let's
to
get a little
support.
more granular with this question, because this is like a really big conversation that's happening
Yeah.
with salon owners, is trying to figure out, how to get people onto the floor, but making sure that if a customer comes into the door, you're going to be able to do whatever they book you for, so like someone books, I want a haircut, it's not going to be like, oh, how long is your haircut? Is it this type of texture? How dense is it? Like, the customers don't know. They can't, even if you waste all of the front desk's time to book an appointment that way, because it sounds to me like a complete waste of time. But let's just say you do that, because maybe some people do that. Maybe some people collect all this information before they book an appointment. To me, that sounds like friction for the customer. Like, I want the customer to be able to, I want a haircut. Okay, tomorrow at 3, see you then. Bye. I want it to be as easy as possible for the customer. That means that when they come in the door, you have to be able to do 80% or more of anything that I book you, right? Or you're booked. So a lot of salon owners, like, I feel like I'm not really confident that a young stylist coming straight out of school is going to be able to do anything and not mess up and end up getting us a bad Google review. So we have to have some sort of process to make sure that I know that you're as good as you think you are. You know what I mean?
And that's completely understandable, because I mean, at the end of the day, that is what's most important. You do want to make sure that no matter what comes through that door, you can tackle it, you can handle it. And it's so funny that you said that, because one of the questions, that you asked, or that you wanted me to touch base on, was, what's something that, us as the younger generation are looking for in salons. And me and some of the girls were talking, some of my classmates, and they were like, going into a salon, they should set up the stylist with like a mentor for a year, versus me being an apprentice or me being an assistant. I can still work on the floor, I can still make money, I can still show my talent, but I know I have my mentor right there to physically go to and ask questions when I need her or him, to be there for me. So it's kind of like a thin line, because I also feel like maybe salons, I feel like with some of the girls that are here, some of these girls are really talented, and I mean really, really talented, like killing balayages already, killing shags already. So it's like, I just feel like it's a thin line. So maybe salon owners should spend a little bit more time doing their homework on their stylists, because I mean, social media now speaks for itself, right? So if I go on this person's page and I see they're killing haircuts, they're killing highlights, they're killing, almost all of the above, then okay, I'm going to be a lot more confident in this person than I might be in this person, where I go on their page and they're posting something maybe every 4 to 5 months. And, okay, I see that their cutting and their coloring still needs a little bit of work. Social media is a really great thing that we have. And I feel like, salon owners should maybe use it a little bit more.
So I'm going to, I totally agree with you on the mentor thing. I totally agree that social media should be used as a means of like having a conversation.
It's literally an online portfolio.
Right. However, I have heard this response, and I'm going to share it with you, and I want you to tell me what you think about this response to that. Big response is that you are picking and choosing what is your best work to portray online, and you're taking you're kind of cherry picking the jobs you did good. No one knows what the customer asked for. They could have asked for red hair and you gave them a really dope balayage. You're like, let me take a picture because this is a really good blonde balayage, but you totally screwed up their hair and they're not they're not actually that happy. So like what they're saying, or you only pick like virgin hair that you did a complete job and like you didn't have to work through different colors, or you did a haircut and their hair texture was perfect for that haircut. Like so that's a big response, is that that's good, but it's really doesn't prove anything. It proves that you might be better than this person, so I might want you, like I might look at like 10 portfolios and be like, okay, here are the top three. Now the top three have to prove that they didn't just stage this whole thing. Now,
Mm-hmm.
and so like, what type of one? What is your response to that? And two, uh, can you come up with or do you have any like thoughts on what type of audition or process that a salon owner could use to
Mm-hmm.
cut through kind of their skepticism about the portfolio, but also give you an opportunity to cut through having to do an apprenticeship or as long of an apprenticeship, if you will.
Well, first, my response to their response, I can honestly just laugh. Like, I can't disagree with what was said at all. I mean, it's spot on. People do it all the time, pick and choose what they want to post. And oh, I don't like this picture, but this one looks better. So let me. So I totally agree that it does happen. Now, what I could say to maybe cut through, like you said, and maybe do like a shorter apprenticeship or internship, I would say maybe when you're hiring someone, what you can do is maybe like, okay, give them the basics. Give me a basic haircut. Give me a basic full highlight. Give me a basic partial highlight. Like maybe if they could set it up to like, okay, once a week you come in for so many months and do these particular tasks. And, at the end of it, it's just like when we go to do our practical, it's either you passed or you failed. And by the end of that time frame, the 2 months, the 3 months, or whatever have you, maybe at the end of that time frame, if you pass the majority, then okay, I could work with this person. If you failed the majority, then maybe we need to work on some more things a little bit more diligently. And, you could still work here, but maybe we should, hold off with putting you on the floor because I still see you need some help with the fundamentals, the basics of things. Because I
Yeah.
mean, it is the fundamentals that is the foundation that we start from.
So if
So if you're struggling with that, then we might need to work a little harder.
okay, so let's just now I'm going to go back to the original question and I'm going to rephrase it. If the current salon owner that you're really excited about, if
Mhm.
part of that conversation was, we need to make sure that you can do the clients that we put in your chair, so we can hire you and start paying you as an apprentice while you show us that you can do this work. And it usually, I've never, and let's just say they say, I've never seen anybody be able to do it quicker than 6 months, and most people take 9 to 12 months to do it, but you can do it in less than 6 months. I've just never seen anybody do it in 6 months. And this is what I need to see. I need to see these looks on these types of textures. And like, as soon as you show me a job, like you bring the model in, you do their hair and you recreate these looks or whatever it is. Like they say, they give you like a bullet point list, or maybe they give you a set of pictures or something like that. And then they're like, okay, now you need to recreate these and you need to do it with no problems from start to finish in front of us. And then once you do all that, then you're on the floor. How do you feel about that? Do you like
Well,
that?
when you word it like that, then it's like, okay, yeah, I got it. I'm gonna kill it. I'm gonna tackle it. Just give me the list.
Okay, so it sounds to me like the problem is when there's like a time restriction from getting from point A to point B with no clear parameters and expectations. It sounds like
Yeah.
that's when you start to be like, I don't think so.
I'm very specific, and I'm one where I have to know the little finest details of everything. I want to know everything because I like to start mentally preparing myself, for what needs to be done. So if if it operates like that, like, okay, yes, you'll be a paid apprenticeship. Here's this list. I need to see you do A, B, C, D, and it needs to be done like this. And this is, if it's set up like that, then that would be amazing, you know. But I feel like a lot of times it's unrealistic for the salon owners to give you a time frame because they don't know. You
Right.
don't know, and they don't know. Neither one of us know how long it's going to take for this particular person to grasp the things that they need to grasp. Because it's one thing doing hair behind a chair at school where you have somebody watching over you. It's another thing where you are solely responsible for this turnout and nobody's helping you. It's two completely different things. So I like the way that you said that and you worded that. I feel like that would be great. Like, okay, Harry, these are the time frames, but it doesn't have to be that long for you. It doesn't have to be so extended out, you know, based off
Right.
of the amount of work you put in.
Right. And okay, I got another question, and then I think we'll wrap it up. And I want to, because I think the next conversation we have about you talking to your fellow students, and I think that's going to be really a good conversation. I don't want to run over too long, but I wanted to
Yeah.
add one more question in here. If
Okay.
the salon owner said to you that we can get you on the floor as soon as you're ready, but we both need to know that we're ready, not just you, but I need to know too. And therefore, so instead of giving you a list, I'm going to say, I need you to come in for 3 classes, 3 weekends or whatever. And I have I need to see how you are in these classes and how you perform. And then based on that information, I can create a pathway. I can work with you to create a pathway to get on the floor based on what I see in those first few classes.
I don't really like that route.
Tell me why.
I don't like that route. And I don't like that route because I felt like you putting me in classes and telling me what I need to work on, that's limiting me. Because I feel like you're not going to know what to work on until it's brought to you, you know? So versus where the other option was, okay, I'm going to show you this and I need you to do it. I need you to recreate it. I need you to map this out. That's different from, okay, I'm going to put you in these classes. This is what I'm going to need for you to work on. And this is how I'm going to judge you, you know, by this. It might be other things that I might need help in. It might be other things that I haven't discovered yet. But because I'm being limited to these specific classes, now I haven't made any new discoveries on what else I need to improve on.
Okay, so what if I said, we have a valuation period to where I want to see how you do a couple of things, and then after those, and we'll have conversations throughout the class, like we're going to do some color, we're going to do some cutting, and I'm going to be able to identify, because I have a history in education, I'm going to be able to identify a lot of areas for that you're really good at and that you might not really need to work on, and I'm also going to be able to identify areas that you definitely need to work on. That doesn't necessarily mean that's everything you need to work on, but I'm going to work with you based on what I'm seeing, and I want to hear you tell me also what you want to work on, and together we'll create your pathway to get on the floor through education, as well as like test out models, or whatever, however you want to say it.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound better, or does that sound like the same thing?
That no, that sounds better because the option that you gave, the one before that, it just kind of sounded like, okay, I'm gonna put you in this and see if you excel. You know, I feel like the more room you leave open for a stylist's creativity will teach you more about them as a person, you know, because that lets you know everything you need to know about somebody. So as far as that is concerned, I feel like that'll be better versus then, okay, just you throwing me in these classes, not even knowing if it's a strength or a weakness. You
Right.
know, you don't know that because we haven't had that conversation. But if we have that conversation and we sit down and we actually have a heart to heart on, okay, this is what I like, this is what I love, this is what I need to excel in, this is what I'm, stagnant with right now. Like for me, I am, my weaknesses is balayages. So I watch a lot of videos on balayages because that's my weakness right now. So if I had someone to just put me in a balayage class, I feel like that's kind of limited me versus me doing it hands on and then being judged by that way. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think I understand. Basically, what I'm understanding is, you want it to be like not not restricted to the owner's vision of the type of work you're going to be doing, more as a way to work through the areas that you want to improve on, or you might need to improve on, whether you know them or not. You want it to be, it just sounds like you want it just to be not super rigorous and not super confined. You want it to be a little more
I don't
fun.
want the fun to be taken out of it. Hair in this industry, it's supposed to be fun. You're meeting people. It's exciting. It's amazing. And I just feel like once that fun is taken out of it, and it's like once it's like you said, very rigorous, I feel like that takes all the enjoyment out of it. And a part of why we become stylists is for the creativity. So I feel like once you take the creativity out of it is when you take the fun out of it, and it's also when you limit what you can learn from the person and what that person can learn from you. So that's how I feel about it.
All right, cool. All right, well, I really appreciate you giving us your input on this. I think that this is a very valuable part of the conversation that I really haven't had a chance to have that much, because I've been talking to stylists and suite owners and teachers at schools. I've even talked to owners of schools and salon owners. So it's really good to have this input and feedback. And so I really appreciate it for coming on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And next time we'll talk a little bit about some insight, not just what your feelings are, but we'll hear from you have taken some time to go around and talk to your cohorts at school. And so I think that'd be really valuable to see if there's what type of variance and variety and what type of things you came up with. But until then, have a good day, and I'll talk to you soon.
You too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.